Hi team. So I asked y'all today, which do you think is more important, developing your strengths or fixing your weaknesses? And I asked y'all this question because Melissa Eichenhorst posted it on her wall this morning, and I found it very intriguing looking at the answers and looking at the people who responded. And I do feel like there's a correct answer to this question. So, I mean, some of you may not fully believe with me and believe me in this, and that's okay because it is kind of a subjective question. Um, but I feel very strongly that the correct answer on this is A, and I'm going to tell y'all why. And if you picked B, I really challenge you to think about these things because I'm kind of wondering if it might be one of the little keys that is holding some of you back. Because when I was reading this on Melissa's wall, I had kind of an aha moment because every one of the Joels that answered A. And I saw some people who I know have been stuck for a long time that answered B. So I'm kind of wondering, could it be because they are trying to fix their weaknesses? Um, so hear me out a little bit on this. I'm a big believer, and I know I've said this to you a lot before, in finding what you're good at, in finding your thing and running with it. And here's why. If you're trying to fix your weaknesses, you're looking at the areas in life that you're not created to do. Um, I feel like we're given gifts, we're given strengths, and we're given weaknesses for a reason. I feel very strongly that God designed each one of us the way we are, very individually for a purpose and for a plan. And if we're trying to be something that we're not, we're never going to be what we're meant to be. So I really, really challenge y'all to and I was reading some of the comments, and some of the people were saying, well, if it's my strength, I don't need to work on it. But that's so not true either. If it's a strength of yours, it doesn't mean you're necessarily good at it because you may have not developed that strength. Um, and it's one of these things too. Some people can think because they're scared to do something that might be a weakness, and that's not the truth either. So one good way to I know a lot of us are kind of like, well, what is my strength? How am I supposed to know this? I've gotten asked this a lot, and sometimes I'm kind of stumped. I'm not really sure, if you don't know what your strength is, how to guide you in that. But I think a good way to find out what your strength is to ask the people who know you best. Ask your husband, ask your best friend, ask your mom or dad, ask your siblings. Ask the people who know you better and have known you your whole life, what do you think my strengths are? And see what they tell you. I think you might be intrigued by what some of them say. There's a lot of articles too I've been trying to read up on this to see, is this just my harebrained idea or do other leaders believe this? But I found lots of different articles on the importance of developing strengths over fixing your weaknesses. And you look at big leaders and companies that excel. I love the book One Thing. And if this is something you're kind of struggling with, I really challenge you to read that book. Because it's about finding your thing, your one thing, and about companies like Starbucks that just focus on coffee. And there's several other examples in it. Like these companies that find their thing and that's what they focus on are the ones that end up, being like iconic names that you know. So I just think that it's so very important for us to focus more on our strengths and our weaknesses, because if we focus on our weaknesses, we're looking at where we're not good. And when we start to realize and we start to make ourselves better in an area that we're not good, you're going to get discouraged and you're going to start comparing, because you're going to look at somebody who's doing really well in that area because that's their strength, and you're going to compare your weakness to their strength, and that's going to defeat you and discourage you. Where if you just start working on your strengths and surround yourself with people who have strengths that are your weaknesses so that you can band together, I think you're going to find yourself flying. So I challenge you all to focus on your strengths and to to let go of your weaknesses, to forgive yourself for your weaknesses, to not feel like you're failing because you're not good at certain areas. Um, and so I just, if you don't fully agree with that, just, humor me a little bit and really think over it a little bit more and start giving more time to your strengths. Thanks, guys.